going to show you a simple little kind of base of a lot of the recipes I've been making, which is a vegetable stock. So the reason I think this is kind of fun is that you get to save those scraps from when you're cooking, like the tops of the onions or any extra like weird celery pieces that you don't use, or when your celery's on the verge of going bad and you know you won't use it, you can throw that into a vegetable stock and make use of it without wasting food. And then I've been using the stock in composting on top of that, so it's really putting to use the vegetables that I am cooking with. It's super easy. Put in the vegetables that you would use in your stock, like onions and garlic, carrots, celery. I always put zucchini in. I avoid putting in things like potatoes. I think the starchiness of it isn't so good as what I was hearing. Don't put food in that's bad, because you don't want a bad stock. You want it to taste like the good food you would normally cook with. I have been just saving the tops and bottoms of, you know, zucchinis and onions and whatnot, and sticking them in my freezer in a bag that I've been using for the stock. And once I think I have enough to make a bit, I just pull her out and throw her in a pot. It's super easy to put together, super easy to make, and you can make it low sodium, or you can add like a soy sauce or even just some like sea salt or whatever you like to help enhance some flavors. Alright, let's get to making this and see what it's all about. Go put my frozen vegetables into my pot and cover them with water. I like to also add some garlic to mine, and sometimes I'll add some more celery or carrots, things that are kind of getting close to going bad that I'm not going to be using. Next we'll add a little seasoning. I like to use some tomato paste. I put in this cling wrap in the freezer after I open a can so that it's easy to take out and put in recipes. I also like to add a little bit of soy sauce to mine, a few tablespoons. It's definitely a lot less sodium than you would get from a store-bought broth. I put a whole nother bag of vegetables in, then I'm going to cover this with water, cover it and cook it for about an hour. Here's my finished broth. It smells delicious. We let it cool so that we don't burn ourselves while trying to strain out the vegetables. You can use a like mesh type strainer, or I have this nut bag that I've been using that works pretty well. We just want to separate the vegetables from the liquid. So whatever method you're using, just scoop up your broth into your bag with a clean container under it, kind of strain it out at the end, and set aside your vegetables, and just keep doing this until you're all finished. I made a ton of broth. I'm going to freeze this in containers. You can freeze it in like mason jars, but they do crack sometimes, so I've decided plastic is the way to go. I'm also going to save all my scraps and put them in some compost or compost with my county, so that I'm putting everything to use. I hope someone out there is going to start saving some of their own vegetable scraps and make some stock. Tell me how it turns out. I hope it's good. The one hint one advice I will tell you is that I found I was initially putting in glass containers, but then I was having them crack when I put them in the freezer. Oops, yep, should have seen that coming. Anyways, I started letting it all cool and putting it into plastic containers, And then I will just take it out of the freezer and warm it up under the sink, the faucet warm water, and slide it out into the soup is usually what I put it in, and let it heat up that way and defrost, I guess, technically in the pan. So just be careful what you put your storage in. Alright, we're going to keep this video short this week. I've discovered that I am a very good procrastinator. And even though I think I have lots of time and I've been spending a lot of time at home, I put off everything that I've been doing. So hopefully next week we'll have a more interesting video. But this is a lot of fun, and I think it's something you can do and then, you know, make you feel good about doing. Also find, since I don't add a lot of sodium to the stock, I'll do like a half of this homemade stock and half of a store-bought one, and that kind of cuts down the sodium but still gives it a little more flavor, because that salt does enhance flavors. And as you get used to not eating it, you realize you don't need it in all the foods, but I think initially it's hard to start cutting down. So that is a good little hint if you want to reduce a little bit of your sodium intake in those stews, because stocks can be so salty. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next week for a cooking video of some sort, and let me know if there's anything you want to see.